We're back another week of the Trash Cast with your host Matthias, along with the boys.
John.
And will now return to
Will,
the safety and warmth of the trash fire.
welcome back. It's good to have you here. Missed you. It was a jam-packed week last week.
It was
I
a
know.
jam-packed week. I unfortunately was I was trapped in the underhive and could not reach the safety and comfort of the trash fire. But now I've fled from the mutants and have returned to my place by the fire.
Well, this week is a little bare bones, unfortunately. They kind of blew their load last week with all the reveals.
Sometimes bare bones are all you get to gnaw on.
Down here in the Underhive.
Sometimes the bare bones come to life and attack you.
That is also true, as I've seen last week.
As you see, it was last week. What happened last week? When did Bones come and attack?
I mean, I listened to the cast, of course. There were many skeletons on discussion.
Oh, there were. Some beautiful ones. But I think we should jump right into this, since I know there's some eager news that John wants to get out there. So, starting with New Model Monday. I'm gonna start with this first. We got the Sister Chaplain variant coming out. It's I don't know what to say about the face. The face seems weird, but everything else kind of looks okay.
New Games Workshop is just like, by the way, here's more sisters. Do you think we're done? Hell no. Here's more Sisters of Battle.
I thought they were. I'm pretty sure when they announced
I
the
thought they were
little,
done.
pretty sure when they announced the little Juggernaut ones, they're like, all right, there's gonna be like a variant of these, but other than that, other than the other thing that we're gonna reveal, which we talked about last week, that's it.
That's
Wonder
right.
if she'll Wonder if she's gonna come out on her own or if she's gonna be part of like some other kind of box.
I think, I think she'll be on her own because we got the lieutenant in the Piety and Pain box, so I think she's just gonna be on her own kind of thing. Don't see her being sold with others.
She has some expertly sculpted candles, I must say.
Nice.
She has the same pose as like a bunch of other minis, which is funny.
To me, it's the Electro Priest that jumps out immediately.
Yeah.
To me it's I think Vargard Oberon.
Yes, that's right.
The new Bone Reapers Underworlds guy. What else?
Kynan,
The
yeah.
Lord Executioner, Resin. Face
Everyone you've
Rainbow.
mentioned wears it better than she does, though.
That's true.
Yeah.
The Vargard Oberon though is like the same.
It's the same.
That's incredible, actually.
Yeah, I'd say unfortunately this model doesn't have much going for it. Hopefully rules wise it'll be good, but sculpt wise it's not that impressive.
It's good to have more variety in character miniatures on foot in general. Just so people have a little more choice. But yeah, this is if I was not a Sisters fan, and I'm not, this has not jumped me over the fence.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Oberon from Shadespire, same pose. I'm just listing all the same poses.
Yeah, unfortunately I don't know how much the faith system works. You know, 'cause this is basically they say this is basically the chaplain equivalent for sisters. So I don't know what kind of prayers are gonna work out, if that's gonna have any effect on their faith system or whatnot, but basically a chaplain. So, interesting to see. And then we got this penitent engine, Repentia. Sorry. Is this new, or is it just because I
No,
haven't seen
that-
any sisters? Because I don't remember there ever being a
It's 'cause-
sarcophagus.
No, that's the alternate kit for the Penitent engine.
Okay. That's how many sisters of sisters of battle I fight. You know, I don't even know. No one's ever run this. But on some other news for New Model Monday, they said this is the last one, which is kind of
Indeed.
sad.
And probably that's more than likely a good thing on the production end because that means that they can now start releasing previews closer to when miniatures actually come out, which actually would be great. But this seemed like it was a good opportunity, like this month, while there've been so many production issues, not just in the States, but well, the Suez Canal also happened.
Yes.
Not that Model Monday was announced well before that, but
Yeah.
uh,
Evergreen.
yeah, it seems like GW then is winding down Model Monday so that they can they're getting back to normal of like having release schedules. I mean, Cursed City, which is one of their big boxes, is coming out really, really soon. So I feel like this is actually secretly good news, even though it's too bad that we won't get to review these new Model Mondays.
I just like to see what's down the pipeline. Help hype up some stuff. But I understand it would make it a lot easier to announce stuff if we didn't have to wait months and months for it to actually come out.
I feel like this period until like the Lumineth pre-order happened just recently, I feel like we were in the period of the most miniatures revealed that were not available for a
Yes.
long time in GW.
Yes. Yes. I agree.
There was so much that we knew was coming, we knew existed. Like it wasn't just rumor engine like that. Those models were there somewhere. They just couldn't get to the consumer.
Yeah, we had a release like every not really sorry a preview Warhammer preview like every month I think,
Hmm.
if not a little bit more than that.
You
But
talking
yeah,
about the Saturday preview?
yeah, like that rarely happened. Before that was like every like few months, but we were getting it almost monthly.
Well, it's a big hit, really.
Mm-hmm.
Also, a very good way to hype up some stuff that's in the works. I think it's great
Right.
marketing. I mean, the presentation can use some help, but they gotta build up that suspense somehow. But speaking of Cursed City, Cursed City will be on sale this Saturday. Well, for preview, I mean, for pre-order, I guess.
Pre-order.
And that was literally the only thing they announced for the Sunday preview.
My
And
excitement is
pretty
immeasurable.
exciting. Oh, actually, the price was revealed today via independent retailers. It's gonna be $199.
$200.
$100.
Yeah, well, that's what I said.
It's a lot of minis.
I
I'm
think
glad it
that's
didn't
what we
break
agreed
200,
on.
but I think that sounds about right.
Yeah, I was expecting it to be like 210. But I mean, basically, if it wasn't 250, I was down. I am down.
Yeah, I'm excited for this. I don't know if you guys are gonna pick it up. I assume you
I'm
will.
pick- I mean,
I
I'm
I'm
staying at
going to
9.
crawl to the store, wait for it to open on like my quadrupedal legs, like holding my two Benjamins and tacks, and them going to pre-order it and then scuttle away to my cave. I'm so excited. It is so awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'm committed to playing Vampire Counts just because I played it in fantasy. And this sounds
Ah,
good.
yeah.
I'm just gonna accept the theory that Bone Reapers aren't getting a release in like 5 years and just
And
play Death.
and here's the good thing, right? If you're wrong, that's great too.
Yes.
Because if they suddenly come out with like more cool Bone Reaper things, then it's like, oh great, like you lose nothing.
Mm-hmm.
You get to be right if nothing comes out, and even if you're wrong, you get models.
Indeed.
There you go. Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'll pick it up as well. Play with my little gaming group. I also got the book that's coming out, and I must say the limited edition cover. I love that cover. Don't know why. It just aesthetically pleases me.
It's really well made. I like all of their covers that look like things that could have existed in the universe. Like it looks like a dark tome of like forbidden spells.
Yeah.
It's just really cool.
Yeah, but that is all that's coming up for this week for pre-order. And I'm not disappointed. I mean, it's something that I want. Really wish they showed a little bit something else, but whatever. I've come to learn that their Sunday previews are just get your wallets ready because this is coming for sale.
Indeed.
So I know the next thing John wanted to talk about was this Adeptus Titanicus news, and I'm not. Why are you excited to talk about this, John?
One, it's Titanicus. Two, it's so this article just announces like Titan grade Volkite weapons because why not? So for guys who don't know the lore, Volkite is one of those things that 30k introduced into the lore of like they're essentially like they're a precursor to bolters. They're like Martian death lasers. um, and they're infamous or not infamous. I would say famous in the novels for every time they're shot, they're described as having the choom sound. And like this is so out of left field. Like, hey, by the way, I heard you guys like Volkite. Volkite is very popular in the 30k community, by the way. And it's like, hey, here's some Volkite for your Titans.
They're adding weapon upgrades, huh?
Indeed. They're probably gonna be Forge World resin upgrade, which is fine. That makes sense if you're just selling guns for your Titan. Like
Yeah,
that
this
makes
is what
sense.
Forge World is good at.
Yeah.
Or kits, huh? Little bits. I mean,
Bits is something that they do very well, and it's something that they're like uniquely equipped to do well. Also because plastic sprues, like the price of plastic sprues, or one price of them, aside from the fact that they're incredibly expensive to make in the first place, is like individual bit sorter is a thing of the past with plastic frames.
mhm.
Because like you're casting everything at once, like there's no way you can cast certain like quadrants of a frame, but you can't just cast a plasma gun. Forge World can cast a plasma gun,
Right.
and often do.
They're specialized in. That's why they're so
Uh,
expensive.
You only
super
buy
cool
every
to see
though.
more super cool to see more weapons for Titanicus. Titanicus rules.
Well, it's very interesting. I don't know how well they're gonna play. That's more John's department. I know he really loves
So it
this
looks
game.
like that these weapons are really good against shields, but they don't do a lot of damage. And they did not show the strength of the weapon, but they did show a special roll called Void Breaker. Essentially, for every hit you make the enemy makes additional Void Shield saves. Because in AT, if you shoot something in range, the Titan's Void Shields take the hit. Um, and essentially for every failed save you make, then your Void Shields lose power. Eventually, when your Void Shields are down, then your Titan can take damage. Now again, like it seems like these Volkite weapons don't do a lot of physical damage, but they're good at taking down shields, which is an interesting gameplay mechanic. I'm excited for it. Like it's more AT. I love Volkite. I'm definitely picking up the Warlord one. It looks so cool, and it's just more AT. More AT is good.
You think they're gonna add any more models, or is this?
I think the fact that the War Master was announced means they can just make stuff up. So there's definitely gonna be more models for this.
It's also, I mean, from a business standpoint, it's a pretty easy game to support. Like you don't need to do a ton to like change up the game. I mean, adding Volkite weapons to everything is like a very space efficient way of also just like they can add to their warehouse of bits while also just making a new way to play. I mean, the Void Breaker thing encourages like coordinated fire between your battle group. The fact that it does a little bit of damage as well, like I think it's like strength 6 or something, according to this article, if
Oh, okay. There
memory
you go.
serves. Like you can kill like night banners with it. But it's just cool. This is rad.
Yeah, I do want to touch on something that Will mentioned about like it's easy to like release stuff for this game because of the nature of the game, where it's like it's Horus Heresy, so you just have two sides, which is traitor and loyalist. Um, and two, because they're the same um side, that there's they use the same units. It's easy to release something for that everyone will enjoy. It's kind of one of the reasons why like I I doubt we'll see any Xenos or anything for Titanicus because
That's
well,
it.
if you
I'm
release
out.
Eldar, then you gotta support that range. But for AT, regular AT, if you release a new Titan, everyone's excited for that. And the game is so niche that it's hard to dedicate resources to producing something that specific, like a specific Xenos faction. I mean, even Chaos Titans, they're hesitant because it's like, well, it's only one side, right? Now, to be fair, they've already done that with the Psychic Titan, which is loyalist only. But that's a resin upgrade, right? And they're not dedicating a plastic kit to that. And I can see the same whenever Battlefleet Gothic comes out. Yeah, it's going to be Horus Heresy because that means you can just make one set of ships, and if you want to change your Your army you just paint a different color. You have your White Scar ships, which are painted white. Your Death Guard, which are painted off white, and your world. I said world leaders, another white ship, but or like salamanders. You have your green ships, right? But they all look the same. The structure is the same. Maybe have bits here and there, like decals or like raised markings, but ultimately you could just release one. Like the starter set could just be one set that every faction can use because it's either traitor or loyalist, right? Just paint it in your legion's colors, or your legion colors. I don't think we'll see something like different Xenos ships. Now, to be fair, Aeronautica does that, but Aeronautica barely gets releases, and I can see them there's three factions for the game. There's Imperium, Orcs, and Tau. And because if they release an Eldar squadron, that means you got to support that.
Every faction that exists is another mouth to feed.
Yes.
It's another commitment being made on the part of the miniature producer that we will do something with this. Unless the secret plan is to just, pop out armies every now and then so you collect everything.
Well, you gotta just keep it simple, right?
Indeed.
Simple is not always a bad thing. But you gotta be able to innovate as well. Otherwise, it'll grow stale and boring.
Right. But yeah, this is hype. I'm getting it. I'm getting the Warlord, probably the Reaver. I mean, it's resin, right? It's just like, okay, not the Warhound because that's not magnetizable, but the Reaver looks like it's the carapace weapon for the Reaver, which is pre-drilled for magnets. Same for the Warlord arms; they're pre-drilled for magnets. So mine are magnetized, so it's an easy swap. I'm definitely picking those up.
Well then, hype for this. Did they give a release date for this? I don't think they did, right?
Of course not.
Of course not.
Forge World rarely does.
Yeah.
We'll release it when we feel like it, and you will wait.
Whenever we have the free time, we will release this.
Although I will say it's kind of stings when the last sentence is like, "Let us know on the Horus Heresy Facebook page how you feel." It's like, where's my con? Where's my Horus Heresy releases? I know AT is Horus Heresy, but where's my main Horus Heresy releases?
They gotta sprinkle it out, like you said, right? It's not very many.
That's like releasing like Eldar for Aeronautica and saying, "There's your Eldar release." See, factions. We give that faction love.
You got your two ships. There you go. That's it. Yeah. Well. Like you said with I think it was last week. I think. They gonna slow down on the production of Horus Heresy because they only got one Primarch left.
Indeed, the con, which I am excited for. I've started some White Scars actually for Horus Heresy, so, and I'm starting to listen to the audiobook, so I want that model.
The hype is real.
Hype is real.
Well then. Well, if we want to move on from the 40k universe, unless you guys got anything else you want to add. Any other stories? No? Alright then. Star Wars. John, you sent me a bunch of pictures.
Yeah, huge reveals.
Looking at the Winnebago right now.
The Winnebago is really Winnebago. This is an odd thing because if you go a quick Google search to the oldie Wikipedia tells you just how obscure this vehicle really is.
Is this from the toy line?
It first appeared in the 1992 Thrawn novel. So in a book, mind you, it was mentioned. And then I believe its only significant appearance outside of like art books is a mobile game from like 10 years ago. But it's coming to Legion.
Hey man, take that obscure stuff and do something with it. And the great thing about obscure stuff, because I mean, let's be real here. General audiences like me, only seen the movies. I don't read like the lore or play many of the video games.
So I'm the same as hype I am for Star Wars. I don't read the books. I don't read the comics. Like I play some of the games, not all, and I only watch movies and the live action TV shows.
Yeah, I'm a pretty casual fan as well. No, I had no idea this existed, but because it just looks like a Star Wars vehicle, like, and the universe is broad enough that it's not like making this isn't like, oh, why aren't they releasing the R278 speeder Volkswagen. It's from the 1993 Thon sequel novel. Nah, it's a cool little vehicle with a little rebel man inside.
But yeah, I want to just touch on, just use all the obscure stuff because all the hardcore fans will know what it is, but all this obscure stuff to, like I said, people like me, Will, or John, I mean, you can just make up all this lore as you go along, right? And as long as it looks like it belongs in the universe, I mean, people will buy it.
Yeah, there's enough Star Wars where you can just kind of pull anything to fit what you need. And I will say from a gameplay, so talking about the gameplay of this thing, so essentially it's a Rhino, it's a closed transport, because the current transports in the region are open top for 40k people. Like your units inside are more vulnerable. Now this is the first closed transport, so as long as the units inside, it won't get hurt. Now tying this into the obscurity of this vehicle, this is kind of for me evidence that the game designers release units that make sense from a gameplay and design standpoint for the faction. Rebels have a lot of and Empire, which we'll talk with the next vehicle, have units that are close range, like Wookiees, fleet troopers with their submachine gun blasters, that would benefit from something like this. Compare that to 40k Warhammer releases where they just kind of release things that look cool. Because this thing is not cool. If you wanted to release something cool for Rebels, there's a ton of things you could come out, but they may not fit the design that's needed for that faction. So the designers are like, hey, this is something this faction needs. Let's push that out. Which tells me that they care about how the meta of the faction, not like the specific tournament meta, but like how the faction works as a whole. Um, they factor that into the the game compared to something like heavy intercessors, which have no real reason to exist for Space Marines other than they're damn cool, and they are super cool, but Space Marines don't need that. While this is something that would benefit the faction and would probably lead to more units seeing play because it exists.
Yeah, I mean, for rebels, from my perspective, not being a rebel player, but having fought against rebels before, like rebels, particularly their infantry, tend to party hard, but not party for long under
Yeah,
pressure.
yeah.
So like they need to safely get to work in something, and this makes a lot of sense.
John, are you
Indeed.
saying it's not cool to roam around in the galaxy far, far away in an RV?
No, I mean, considering you have stuff like saber tanks and AATs, and the next one, which is the patrol transport, yeah, no.
It's like a
See,
family trip, you know? You just
eh,
take your men out to the desert of Tatooine and camp out. That's a good time. Pretty cool.
it also should be noted too that in rebel lists you could have 2 of these taco trucks and like a full squadron of tauntauns just charging at the enemy.
Indeed.
Pretty fearsome.
And then the Wookiees pop out.
Wookiees pop out of the Winnebagos.
Yeah, speaking of the gameplay, like I could see this, like people would, I guess people talk about putting Luke in this. I play Luke a lot. I don't think he needs one. The fact that he has jump, like he just hide behind a wall. I mean, it doesn't hurt. It's a cheap transport. It's like 75 points or something. Like actually, take it back. Um, as we're going to see later, there's a field commander up. Okay, I remember now why people take Luke with this. So one of the upgrades for this, which we'll see later, is a field commander, which means that it could count as an HQ choice despite being a heavy support choice. And Jedi Luke being an operative, which is like an elite choice, means that you need an HQ. Now this could function as that HQ and then be a taxi for Luke, which makes sense because like you take this vehicle, move it twice, and then now Luke's in a position to do a lot of things early on.
Go out and
Being a
wreck people.
transport, heck yeah. And obviously, again, we were joking about earlier, but like Wookiees are really need this. Like Wookiees are really good, but one of our friends, Fig, he loves his Wookiees, but he feels that they get shot too easily because um, they're threatening and people focus fire them. Now this fixes that problem where they just hop in the Winnebago and then get driven in and then come out and start pulling people's arms off.
I would argue our buddy Fig needs more Wookiees. I've seen a number of lists online on in the elims that are happening right now of just like a enormous amount of walking carpets
Yeah, check those
emerging
Wookiees.
and killing people.
it's funny because like Mandos came out and like Rebel players like heck yeah like Mandos, and then the yearly points reduction FAQ was like, okay, Wookiee spam, let's go.
Well, we can
but
move on
yeah,
to the next
Enough.
vehicle here, which is
yeah,
the LAT, L Patrol Transport.
so this is kind of like, think of it as a helicopter, like so it's because it transports people. It has a close transport one, and it has a bunch of good, it's solid firepower. Um, Something of note that the Winnebago does not come with a weapon. You have to upgrade it, which we'll see later. But this one comes with weapons, which you can also add weapons to. But so this is more of, I could see this more as a not just a dedicated transport, but also like another another gun platform.
Love that it's
And
multi-faction.
yes, that's yeah. Thank you all for pointing out. You could take this as Empire or clones. This thing is I play every faction, but clones are one of my main factions right now, and clones don't need this. Like this is kind of dead weight from a. Okay, take it back. It's people are saying, oh my gosh, like clones get another vehicle, it's gonna be super strong. Actually, like clones are strong right now, but clones are super strong because of their infantry, and you spending points on this is points that's not going to more infantry because this is like a squad in a heavy weapon in points. If you put upgrades, it could be almost 2 squads. And clones don't need like clones are a gut shooting faction. They don't need a transport to take their units anywhere. Maybe when the Wookiees come out for them, maybe if we see like, I don't know, like clone assassins from the Revenge of the Sith PS2 game, maybe. But right now, if you want a gunship, just take the saber tank, which just throws costs similar, but just throws all the shot, all the DACA. Now for Empire, on the other hand, this is pretty great. I think the
Yes, sell
units
me
you have
on it.
units. Oh yeah, there you go. All the other podcasts for Legion are like, this is exists just deliver Palpatine into the enemy and then just drop his 1 pip. Because Palpatine is great. His weakness is he has a speed of 1 because he's an old man.
He literally
But
has a cane on his model.
indeed he does. But hey, guess what? He could just hop on this, inside this vehicle, move twice. And I think there's an upgrade that was leaked that it's a pilot that gives us speed 3. So you could just double move this and then drop Palpatine next turn and just destroys people. Same for Vader. People are saying this would be great for Darth Vader to ride on. If I had this, I would probably put snow troopers in it because snow troopers have a flamethrower and they're also speed 1, which is their main kind of drawback. Royal Guard, scout troopers would be pretty good in this. So this is great for Empire. I think if it makes like just like Rebels, it makes a lot of units better by giving them a transport option, because again, all those units I mentioned are great, but they're very close range, and if you're not careful, they can just get shot off pretty easily.
Is the
So
120 points worth it though? Is
for
that a
that,
good
yeah,
deal?
considering like the ATST is like a little like over that, 120 is probably the cost of like a Death Trooper squad. Now you would probably want to spend like 15 to 20 points in upgrades on this. I could see it has a slot for missiles. I could see you should give it missiles. It has a pilot slot. You should probably give it a pilot, even just the speed 3 one, and then like put Palpatine in there and then just like walk forward. Like, I know, Matt, you expressed interest in Palpatine. This is kind of an auto include if you're running Palpatine, honestly, because it's just like you drop him and you have this old man with Force lightning just destroying everything.
He's like what 200 points, right? So I'm gonna be spending 320 points plus whatever upgrades I'm gonna get.
Oh yeah, I think he got a point reduction, but yeah, with upgrades is going to be around 200 points. But again, mitigating his big weakness of he is speed 1.
Speed
Uh,
1.
This is super worth it.
Also, alternate take too from the taco truck. This does have weaponry on it,
Yes, indeed it does.
so it can do things aside from driving Palpatine to work.
Yeah, I can see it driving Palpatine to work and then just like picking up like bunker buster missiles on it and then just adding some more dice. It's pretty worth it, I would say.
Interesting. I guess I'll have to consider it when I fully dive into it.
Indeed.
Well, should we move on to the next picture then?
Yeah, so this is a heavy weapon upgrade for the tank or for the transport. I'm not a fan of this one. It's
Wait, which one are you
red,
looking
black,
at?
and white. The heavy laser retrofit, is it that one?
Oh, okay. Sorry,
Oh,
I didn't bring that one up. Go for it.
oh, gotcha. So it's a 16-point upgrade, red dice, black dice, white dice for the truck. I don't think it's yeah, it has crit 1. I don't think it's worth it, especially because there was a weak weapon which was I think 10 like 5 to 10 points more, but it throws like 5 black dice with impact 2 or something. That's way better. I guess if you're just trying to make the speeder bus as cheap as possible, just I guess you could spend the 16 into taking this.
A range 4 is not terrible either, considering that the speeder bus is already pretty fast. Because the way vehicles move in this game, you take your measurement stick and you put it from like end to end. So the fact that the speeder has this really long base is going to
Hmm.
make it incredibly more mobile than just the fact that it's because I believe it says it's speed 1 or something, but like that speed 1 is a really big speed 1. So
Yes,
with this, unless the other weapon is a very low range, like this, at least you can be probably most likely have a chance of hitting something throughout every turn of the game that your taco truck is alive.
right.
Taco truck.
I'm sorry, I mean the AA5 speeder truck,
There you go.
official name.
Right.
No, it is interesting.
But that
All
other
right.
gun
What?
does sound better.
Well, it's not. I think I'm gonna have to agree with John. I don't think it's that worth it, but well, it does put up the good point of it being able to at least hit the entire board.
Yeah, range 4 is pretty good. I mean, crit 1 is it's one of the best keywords in the game, in my opinion. And again, it is range 4. That's not bad for throwing suppression in there, taking some stuff off. And 16 points isn't that much. If you can find the points for it, it's pretty worth it. I think if you're just taking the transport as like a Luke bus or something, or a Wookiee bus, and you're trying to shave off points by not getting the other weapon, this is worth it.
Mm.
Hmm.
Yeah, there's a good point to be made for that too. I would have to see the other weapon too, as to whether the opportunity cost of the other gun may just be better.
Right.
Well,
And then there's the field commander for rebels.
Indeed.
was it Shrive?
Yeah, this is a character from Battlefront 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, 10 points. He has a free action. Unit you're transporting gets a dodge token and suppression token, or may gain a suppression token. So keyword is may. And he's a field commander. One dodge token is pretty good. And guess who likes dodge tokens? Freaking Luke Skywalker. So yeah, this guy's pretty good. I mean, rebels, like Will said earlier, are very fragile. So having a source of dodge tokens is damn good, especially because you could activate this guy, double move, give a dodge token because it's a free action, give a dodge token to one of your dudes inside, whatever's inside, and then when they activate, they pop out, and then they hope probably you would activate them last so they survive the whole turn's worth of shooting, and then next turn they wreck face. This is pretty. I think it's auto include if you're getting melee units. I mean, if you have Luke Skywalker, it's auto include. Even for Wookiees, again, it's a dodge token. Like for 10 points, making a Wookiee survivable, it's not bad.
Yeah, that usually also costs an action to do. And the option to have the suppression token as well is potentially another thing that will really help with survivability, by just giving a unit extra cover that they otherwise wouldn't need, particularly if their courage is high enough that the suppression token isn't going to interfere with how many actions they can take.
Right.
And this man is 10 points.
And he's field commander, and the rebel commander, while I mean he's better with vigilance now, but he's not like amazing like the Clone Wars commanders. So paying 10 points to fill in the HQ slot probably worth it.
Hmm. I have a question.
What's up?
So, do abilities affect units inside?
This one specifically does. It says choose a friendly trooper unit you are transporting or arrange one to.
Okay, but normally it doesn't.
Normally, no. If it says choose a friendly unit, within whatever range, then the guys inside the transport cannot be affected by that.
Okay, I just wanted to see if it was like psychic powers in 40k, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, so not affected unless specifically says affect guys inside vehicle. Perfect.
Next one we got Governor Price, which is the Imperial Field Commander. I don't think she's as good as Shriv. Again, it's a Field Commander, and your unit, it's the same ability, except it's an aim token. Now, it does give you a suppression token, and Empire isn't that good with managing suppression. So this one you might have to have a little thought in whether one you want to use it or not.
The suppression token is also mandatory.
Exactly, that's why. Yeah. I don't think she's terrible. I think there's situations where you want to take her. Now I will say something to point out that it says Rebel or Imperial heavy vehicle only, so you could put her in ATSD if you want a field commander. And she's not that bad actually because you know like if you have an ATSD you could give it's a free action to give an aim to like I don't know, like a Death Trooper unit, which has Courage 2, or like snipers, which also Courage 2. Even in Storms, if you have like a source of suppression mitigation, that's pretty good. I don't think she's that good on the helicopter. I think she would see more play in an ATSD if you want that field command, especially if you want field commander.
I see.
Yeah.
I'll move on to Commander Fox here.
Yeah. This guy's interesting. I mean, he's not an infantry guy, so I mean, competitive clone players don't care about him. He's cool. If you just um, 10 points, choose a friendly unit, give the surge token. Now, I think of the three we've seen, he's the worst one, mainly because clones already have a lot of sources for surge anyway. You're typically taking a commander with aggressive tactics, and phase twos generate free surges anyway for existing. Now, he does remove suppression, but the thing is, Ayla Sakura exists, and if you want again, going back, like, this guy you can only take if you take a helicopter. And clones don't really need the helicopter, considering, again, if you want there's nothing really to transport, and if you want a gunboat, you just take the tank, and the tank has Ayla Sakura, which what she does is she removes 2 suppression from 2 different units when she activates, so it's just way better than this guy. And what I said about surge tokens, I don't think he's that useful. Especially because Ayla Sakura also has field commander, so this guy's just kind of meh to me as a clone player.
Yeah. Going by what you're saying, how they don't really need that vehicle. Makes sense that
Yeah.
it would be thrown to the side here. Maybe when other stuff comes out, he'll find a place.
Yeah, like, once we get more clone Ayla units, he might be good for that, given surge tokens, whatever's inside. But again, right now he's the worst out of the three. Very meh to me.
Now, Field Commander, that's your leader, right?
So field commander. Well, the initial rule was field commander lets you could be selected as the commander for neutral or faction command cards, because when you play a command card, um, your hero has to be alive, right? So this guy can be used for that. But the main reason why you take field commander now, which was a change that was introduced last year, is field commanders count as an HQ for army building purposes. And like going back earlier, this is why the taco truck is really good for Luke, because Jedi Luke is not on HQ, and taking Shriv one gives Luke a dodge token. And you take the taco truck, which Luke benefits from, and he gives Luke a dodge token, and I think I said, and he counts an HQ. So super good.
Saves a huge amount of points in other places.
Exactly. Because like the Rebel HQ doesn't really give a lot unless you're trying to specifically build like a vigilance list or something. The Imperial Commander is the same if you're taking an ATSD or the tank, the Empire tank. Like and you don't want to pay the HQ tax. She's pretty worth it for 10 points.
See, okay. Cheaper options, always nice to have. That flexibility. Well then, shall we go to this robot thing?
Yes. All right. Well, you know what this is? This is your faction.
Yes, this is a very special robot because currently droids have 3 commanders. Now our number of commanders has increased significantly by having one more. This is awesome. It's also just a great pose. It's a very standard sort of like sci-fi pose of like I have a space weapon. Here's my blaster gun. Like you can just see like a B1 droid at his feet being like, "You are so cool, super tactical droid. Please calculate my odds of hitting with white dice on the enemy." As the super tactical droid just looks down and laughs. It's a awesome model. I have no idea what it does. If it fills a gap between Grievous and the tactical droid, which is a pretty huge 110 point valley, this will make the faction more interesting to play. Literally cannot say anything negative about this. Having no idea what his rules are, his rules could be shocking. At the very least, even if he somehow sucks enormously, which I trust. I trust Legion not to do that, not to create something for no purpose. I feel like it's just going to be a cool model to have in paint anyway.
Yeah, if I remember from the stream, they mentioned that this guy is coming with different rules. Like he could represent different commanders, like a generic one, a named one, and stuff. So this one model, let's could be used as different characters, which is great. More options, and like Will said, he's cool. That's a great model. It looks way cooler than regular tactical droid. Definitely gonna pick this up because I have a separatist army. So, and like Will said, great pose. Probably gonna have multiple poses because it's a multi kit.
So is that what this thing's called? It's called a super
A super tactical droid.
super tactical droid. Okay. Interesting.
Yeah.
Um well, we got the next model on the chopping block, which is more robots for Will. Got the General Grievous bodyguard.
The Magna Guard or the Grievous Guard or whatever they are, these
They're called
guys
Magna
are
Guard.
yeah
Yeah.
way cool. So easily dispatched in the films, but it's a really great design. Droids with clothing is a funny idea anyway. Um, I like that they're sculpting on like the sort of energy arcs on the weapons. This model just has a lot of character. Maybe it will make General Grievous a more interesting choice as well. If they like, if he's, I think the term in this game is like retinue or what's the term, John, for like when a commander and a unit has like a special synergy?
It's entourage. So
Entourage,
yeah,
yeah.
so entourage. When you on for example, Krennic has entourage Death Troopers. So if you have Death Troopers in Krennic's army, there's two effects. One, they don't count as a Force Org slot, so they don't count as elites. You could get more elites. And two, when you're issuing orders, as long as they're within range one or two, one I forgot if it was 1 to 2 or just one of Krennic, they get a free order. So I could see this guy's having like entourage Grievous or something. So if you have Grievous, they get that rule.
And I can see that making Grievous's stock go up a little bit because at the moment in Separatist, Grievous is probably the least talked about of the 3 commander options.
Yeah,
Um,
he's not bad. The others are just way better.
this may make him more interesting. So I think that alone is something to be excited about for this unit. Aside from artistically, it's just a super cool, super unique Star Wars robot looking dude.
I could also see this unit having Guardian Commander only, because currently the Guardian rule, which lets you tank hits for other units, essentially you could tank hits for anyone. So I don't think this is someone who could tank hits for like battle droids or something. I think he'll have a rule that makes it only tank commanders.
A nice little lookout, sir, for him. So I think we got 2 more models here. We got the Wookiee with a I assume he's packing some heat here with a gun. It's an interesting thing to go with.
So interestingly, this is a Republic unit
The Republic, so that's what,
and
Clone
Rebels
Wars?
multi-faction.
Oh, okay. Do
I
the clones not have access to Wookiees? Or are the rebels I'm not familiar.
So the clones will soon have access to a Wookiee, presumably. I don't imagine he'll be able to share tokens with the clones, but maybe he can.
I don't think so because that's tied to the clone trooper rule, which is specific to clone troopers.
Indeed, that is correct. Unless this reveals that the Wookiees and Kashyyyk were all clones and they can share tokens with other Wookiees.
Spouting a bunch of gibberish that I don't really understand, but
Maybe
I will
maybe
get there
they were
eventually.
clones of Chewbacca, and Chewbacca was a clone trooper himself, which is why the clones and the Wookiees got along so great on Kashyyyk, which is of course the Wookiee homeworld.
Didn't they get enslaved?
I hope so, but
You hope so?
I don't know the answer. Well, I mean, look at this! Look at
It's
this unruly beast.
it's messed up. I can't believe you'd say that about this. This
You
beautiful
call yourself
Sasquatch.
an Empire player?
We just put him to work. That's all.
Yeah, it's a space alien.
We give him a job. That's what the Empire does. It provides opportunities for everyone.
And speaking of opportunities for everyone, it is cool that this is yet another. If what you're saying is correct, John, like this is yet another cross faction release.
Yeah. I think John right now is having a bit of technical problems with his mic, which is why he's a little bit silent right now.
That is fair. Maybe he's just in awe of how awesome this Wookiee is.
Yeah. But I guess more models for two different factions is always good. Always good to have that variety.
Indeed.
Indeed.
So, next
Oh,
model,
there's this guy too, I guess.
the Yoda, two different
Yada.
pose.
Oh, that's how you say it.
Yada, exactly. Thank you. Two different pose Yada.
Is he like a grown-up version of Grogu?
Oh my gosh.
Isn't this not Grogu?
Oh, is Grogu as an old man? Well, that can't be right if he's Clone Wars.
Oh my gosh. You guys are killing me.
Well, maybe
You can stop me at any time, John.
put his essence into the past. His force was so great. Sent his younger self into the past.
This is gonna be one of the most purchased miniatures for this game that people will get just because they want a Yoda model.
I agree.
Is Yoda not
I
in the
think
game already?
this is his release.
Oh,
The multi pose is amazing. Like they're very different poses, not just like Anakin has like an arm swap. This is like there's another pose too when he's just like chilling with his cane or something.
Oh, is there really? That would be
Yeah, there's a
amazing.
third pose, and there's this one where it's like, like more reserved lightsaber and like Yoda coming to murder some clones.
Oh, I had no idea that there was a third pose with
Yep.
him chilling, because that's key.
Yep, and they confirmed that this will all be in the kit. No limited edition sculpts here.
nice.
That's a great thing. I like Legion. I think aside from there's a special operative Vader that's limited edition, right? What
Just
other
an
limited
alternate
edition
sculpt.
sculpts are there?
Alternate sculpt.
Oh, alternate sculpt.
Mhm.
But it's a limited sculpt, right?
Yes, you can't buy them anymore. Unfortunately, it's a cool sculpt, but yeah, limited release. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
Oh, that's lame.
This is super cool. His rules wise, he seems interesting. He's a lot of points.
200 points. He's a Palpatine.
indeed. His profile, like he has guidance, which it's pretty powerful. A unit gets a free attack or move. That's another free action. That's really good. He could attack twice, and he gets the deflect rule. He has surge to block default for a Jedi, which is super powerful. Now he only has 5 health and speed 1, so
What, he can't
not
just
as
force jump his
crazy.
way across the map? Come on now. I've seen the Clone Wars.
Face value, Master Force 2, standard for Yoda, makes sense. This guy is really bad. Face value. Now, command cards exist. And I think this guy's gonna have pretty. It's kind of like Palpatine. Like Palpatine without command cards is pretty garbage for what you pay for him.
Yeah, we're only seeing half of the commander.
Yeah, like the command cards will really, like they're pretty impactful on how commanders are. So I can imagine one where he like just goes like flipping around, like it's like speed 3 or something, and like I don't know, some crazy rule.
It's also very possible that in the expansion for Yoda, there'll be new force powers that may somehow affect the kind of things you'd be taking him with. Like, it's not like any of his command cards are going to make him slower, right?
Yeah.
There will probably be things like we're right now. I mean, we're only seeing part of the picture, but a lot of stuff on the picture is pretty interesting. I mean, guidance is really cool,
Being able to
and
attack twice is pretty cool. Now he only has
and
4 red, but that's he has a
yeah,
range attack as well.
and his range attack is fearsome.
Yeah, blast and suppressive. Now it is only range 2, but I can see this guy like being in a clone blob with barrier, like at force barrier, which lets you ignore hits nearby. Um, yeah, I think his command cards are going to be good, and I don't. The only weakness, like his command cards could be great, but the fact remains he is 200 points base, and you probably spend like 30 points in upgrades in him. So we're looking a lot like 220, 230 point character, which is already more than a quarter. No, yeah, more than a quarter of your army. And clones right now are the most elite faction. So you might be pushing at doing a 10 activation list with Yoda unless you're like spamming phase ones, which hey, maybe it increases, we could see phase ones on the table again.
That's
Because
true.
phase twos, while they're amazing, they're really pricey. Mark troopers are pricey. Um, like I could see Yoda just being like Yoda and like clones. You could be crazy and get like Yoda Anakin or like Yoda Obi-Wan. Um, but it's probably gonna be like Yoda and a clone blob. This guy seems fun. I'm a huge fan of clone force users. I generally the most competitive clone lists are just clone blobs with like Rex leading the charge kind of thing. Clone Death Stars, but uh, I like having clones with sabers. I've been led by a saber user, and I can see myself playing Yoda quite a bit.
This guy's only in the clone army.
He could be in Rebels, man. They may just pull a fast one on us. But like, by the way, you can take this in Rebels. I doubt it, but that'd be awesome.
Yeah, if the day comes where we see like an elderly Obi-Wan choice for Rebels, which would be very strange considering his known involvement up to now with the Rebel Alliance, as it were.
Yep.
It could happen, but I think this is appropriate. That this is General Yoda, right? This is
Right.
Yoda before his self-imposed exile.
I mean, Darth Maul, was never in the Confederacy technically, so
Yeah,
that's quite possible.
and like Palpatine isn't playable in Separatists either.
hmm
All very interesting. Since you guys are mainly the Star Wars guys, how are you guys feeling about these? What are these? They're not leaks. They're like planned release.
I
It's like
mean,
Warhammer preview kind of thing.
more releases for a game this small, I think, is always pretty earth-shatteringly cool news.
I do
I mean, the
remember.
game is super young.
I do
I
remember.
kind
I
of
was.
don't care for the vehicles. I play all armies. I love loot, but I don't like the. I don't see the saber truck being the tackle truck being in my army. I think it's a great release for rebels. This faction needs something like that. I'm glad it exists. Same for the helicopter. Like I just picked up my ATST. That's my extent for Empire vehicles because it's iconic.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but it's cool. Like it's a dope model. Like I could see Donnie picking this up for sure. And like I said earlier, I don't see this as being useful for clones, so I'm not picking it up for that. But I'm glad it's out. The droid stuff is amazing. I'm definitely picking those droids up. I love the tactical droid design. I love Magna Guards. Instant day one purchase. I don't care for Wookiees. I'm glad this guy exists. I think this is a melee upgrade for the Wookiee squad. So if you like melee Wookiees, is great. In like I mentioned earlier, Yoda lightsaber user in clones day one buy. It's a great model. Like it's just a great model.
It looks nice. Now I know I didn't post this in there, but I mean, if you guys scroll up a little bit on the news tab, I want to take a look at this release schedule thing that we talked about a long time ago. You guys can find that. It's like right before Will's Blood Knight
The
picture.
Yeah,
Oh, the Star Wars.
the leaks that say like Grandmaster Yoda, Wookiee Warriors unit expansion, all of those.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it looks like we got the did we well we got the Grandmaster Yoda thing.
The only thing that wasn't revealed was the dwarf spider droid, the Persuader class tank, and the Wookiee like flying machine.
And the infantry support unit, the
Ah,
swamp
you're
speeder.
right.
Yeah.
That's true.
So far this
But
was a pretty good leak. Was this a
I
leak?
mean, at this rate, those other things are confirmed. The fact that like the rest were, everything else was in this list, like I guarantee, like we're gonna see spider droids and like the snail tank, which is gonna be cool.
Well, there you go. Something to look forward to. More more robot stuff coming. That spider tank. And a pretty good list. So I mean, going by this, are we still thinking it's gonna come out in July 23rd?
Probably, I would say so, because April is. I don't think there's actually. I think because it's March. I don't think there's any April releases scheduled. I think the vehicles got pushed back to May.
Hmm.
Um, Not sure what's coming out in June, if anything. So we'll probably, yeah, this will be right coming in July.
Coming in July. All right. Well, there you go. Wherever you pulled this leak off, it was a good find.
Indeed.
But if you guys got anything else to add, I think we can jump into the hobby rant section.
That's it.
Indeed.
All right then, hobby rant. Will, since you weren't here last week, let's start with you.
So I'm doing the same task I've been committed to. Of I got to finish my damn droid army so that I can have nothing on my paint table when Cursed City drops. So I've been hurriedly painting squad markings on battle droids and putting tufts on bases and just trying to get my droids squared away, looking, parade ready to go get murdered, and so I can have nothing else to do when Cursed City drops, because that's going to be a box that I'm going to go to the store, get that day, come back, immediately start building and priming things, hopefully the same day. I'm super excited for Cursed City. And yeah, I'm basically just preparing as much as I can for that until I get it into my mitts.
Oh, how close would you say to be finishing with us, the robots?
I have 5 models left in my 800 point list that are not fully painted and based now.
You
Good.
got plenty of time. I mean, we're not expecting Cursed City for another 2 weeks.
Well, the models that are left are some of the harder ones to do, like Darth Maul. I've yet to paint, and that's a model I'm going to spend a little more time with. I don't predict it's going to be like you know, incredibly difficult experience. There's a great Duncan Rhodes guide on how to paint him that I'm probably just going to steal. But yeah, I'm getting there. The end is definitely in sight.
Mr. Thin Your Paints or else.
Yeah, still kicking.
Yeah.
How about you, Matt? What are you working on?
Well, I had a bunch of disappointment this week, so I was gonna I was hyped for my Dark Eldar book, and it didn't show up. So I
Oh,
didn't
no.
I didn't get to play my Dark Eldar, unfortunately, or look at the rules. So that was very demoralizing. I did pick up Piety and Pain.
Ooh.
I went well because I have a friend who wants the sisters and he doesn't want the Dark Eldar, so I was like, sure, why not? $85 for the Dark Eldar half is a good steal, especially given what I know from the witches and all the other models in there getting buffed up. So I've been building those pretty much this entire weekend in prep when I ever get my book to play a game, which will hopefully be this Wednesday. So yeah, all I've been doing is just building more Dark Eldar from the Piety and Pain box, which I must say sold out immediately, and my local GW only had 2 in stock. You'd think they'd have a bit more.
It's having once worked at a GW, and as John still works on one, can comment. Uh, Demand is often very, very much up against the wall when faced with supply. Like there's just
Mm-hmm.
never enough of those big boxes. Aside from things like edition releases, typically those giganto boxes, if your store is, on top of a remote, like craggy peak in the Alaskan wasteland, maybe you won't sell out of things like that. But like Pariah Nexus, right, is sold out everywhere and like died immediately upon impact with the Games Workshop stores and with trade.
Mm-hmm.
Everything just got sucked up right away.
Well, I just remember pre-pandemic. I remember a lot of those boxes didn't really sell too much, at least at our local Warhammer store. I mean, there was always that, was it Ghost Warrior box, the Eldar
Depends
Space Wolves.
depends on the box. Like Speed Freaks sucks. You remember Speed Freaks, John?
Oh, absolutely. October, not really
Yes.
October.
Speed Freaks was shocking, but then things like Wrath and Rapture and like Renegade, which was like the double night box, which is quite a few years old now. It really depends, but a lot of the more recent boxes have just been disappearing into the warp because they either contain like a brand new special character that you can't get anywhere else. So those are popular just for people who want them or want to sell them.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm not surprised that Piety and Pain has been swooped up pretty quick.
I'm not either. I'm not surprised it got sold out because I mean, Sisters are hot right now. Dark Eldar were getting pretty good reviews from their book. How pretty much, I'd say about 90% of the units pretty much got buffed in a good way. There's still the unfortunately the beasts still got screwed over. They're still trash, but Sisters still being a, I mean, saying a new army is not the right word, but being how well they got redone is probably another reason. And it's not Space Marines
Yeah.
versus Xenos Chaos thing. It's a Xenos versus another Imperial army,
Mm-hmm.
which makes it probably a lot easier. Well, I mean, not easier, more attractive to sell because everyone's sick of, oh great, another Space Marine box versus Xenos. Why don't I just get the 2-player starter set?
I think what we really need is a Space Marine versus Space Marine box. That would sell out very fast.
Yeah,
Not
we
even
had one,
kidding.
then Forge World pulled it. We had
Yes,
two of them, and Forge World pulled it.
the villains. On that tragic note of the loss of the plastic 30K starter sets, what are you working on, John?
I've been busy last week, so I was working on. I just finished my Rebels. I just got Callus, Lando, and Palpatine, so I'm gonna just knock those out really quick, and then probably work on. I don't know. Because I'm just waiting for. I'm trying to think about what I could paint in 2 weeks before. Well, actually, more than 2 weeks. For Curse City, because I'm gonna order it online, and which means it's gonna come in like a month or something. So, just trying to decide what to work on next. So, I did pick up my ATST. I had to hunt for that. I was looking for one for like 2 weeks. This thing is sold out everywhere. So the ones that comes in, gonna be working on that. But yeah, I'm still not unsure what my next project should be. Maybe it's a 30K White Scars. Who knows? Maybe I could finish my or work on my Bone Reapers. I think once AOS 3 is announced, I'll just go into hype mode for that. But right now, there's nothing really pulling me like, oh, I want to get this done like ASAP kind of thing.
You think AOS 3 is coming out soon?
Yes, I think so.
It seems likely. I don't imagine it'll be as like comprehensive as something like the change from 7th edition 40K to 8th edition, or even like AOS 0 to AOS 1. But I do agree that something like that is on the near horizon. And
Okay.
considering the track record with the recent AOS edition changes, it's probably only going to make the game better, which is a very GW banner waving thing to say by somebody who no longer is employed by them. But like they, I think, have been moving in the right directions with AOS.
Well, the Nighthaunt came out, what, 2018?
18, yeah.
So it's been about 3 years. I wouldn't. I would give it about another year or two.
It could be 2 more years, but I think it's possible that we would see it. Um, it could also very well be this year, though.
I think it's this year because Games Workshop is known for having a huge summer release every year for
Something
like
big will come this
over
summer.
5 years now. And last year
Something
was
big.
9th edition, so it has to be something that massive,
What are you talking about, man? It's
which
gonna
I
be
think would
Battlefleet
be a list.
Gothic.
Oh my gosh! I mean, I would buy it, and that's it.
I mean, and the year before that was Contrast Paint,
Yeah, that was crazy.
which is we're still feeling the echoes of that. That is a paint that kind of was a game changer for the entire hobby, not just
Hmm.
for Games Workshop miniatures either.
Hmm.
Maybe next week we'll discuss what the next starter set should be.
That'll be
It'll be
fun.
fun.
It'll be Lizardmen. Lizardmen and
I wish.
Empire go back to 5th edition starter
Honestly.
set. I think that's what it was, right?
It was like Empire Orcs. I think there was Lizardmen maybe at some point.
There was definitely a Lizardman Bretonia starter set. I want to say
Yes, because
that
I
that
do
that
remember seeing that.
that did happen. Those are old Lizardmen.
I know. That's why they
Like
gotta
they don't
go.
have the frills or anything.
That's why when they redo the whole entire Lizardmen army, given the what's it called, Underworld's team that we saw, be a perfect way to introduce the new models. Put them in a starter set. Though knowing them, it'll probably be Sigmarines versus I don't know. Let's say
Literally
ogres.
anything in that box will sell. If there's
Probably.
Stormcast Eternals on one half of it, the other half of it will, by happenstance, also be purchased by everybody. That is that would make a lot of sense. I can't, I think it really was Lizardmen versus Bretonia.
Yeah, because I do
Probably.
Maybe I'm
remember it. I just
crazy. I'm
don't
looking
remember
at
what
pictures right
edition it
now.
was.
It looks like it's 4th edition.
4th edition. Okay. I remember seeing it when I first walked into a GW. It was that, and then it was like 3rd edition 40k with the Dark Eldar Space Marines. Those were the two tutorial tables. But yeah, I got nothing else to add. I think I'm ready to call it there, unless you guys got any more things you want to bring up.
I think it was well covered.
That's it.
All right then. Well, thank you everyone for listening, and catch you next time.
Take it easy.
Good everyone.
Goodbye.